Hello everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Supreme Ruler 2020 as Japan. Last stop we were just trying to deal with a bit of a struggle against Vietnam, despite being rather close to the capital and taking some further losses than we would like. But at least we have made progress, but things are just gonna get slowed down a bit, and of course I've gotta to thank one user about one idea that I never actually thought about before in my previous LPs or even free time about what each initiatives or even the DEFCON would do. And so with that suggestions that he kind of made or his own experience explanations, I will have to take the risk of elevating DEFCON to 2 military initiative, which kind of makes sense to about the difference between medium, high, and all the way to full. So for the Army we'll go to full, Air Force full, Navy on the other hand, we're just gonna keep it at probably at medium at the moment. So as you can see, I didn't note the description of difference between each of the initiatives, so in this case full will be units will also actively reserve and deploy. So anybody could pretty much reserve if they want to, let alone those that are damaged from what I'm seeing, and probably redeploy whenever they can, albeit a bit too aggressively in terms of when they pretty much try to go on the attack, on the offensive I mean. So in the meantime, best to get these units across, but at the same time I think it's best to just concentrate on taking Viet Tree. You can just cut off this area, have all of you entrenched, have most of the Air Force deployed, that are deployed to counterattack, and there's a T-54, but also to somewhat rebuild our army, same with our Air Force as well, but at the same time also try and modernize. And by modernize is to research all sorts of stuff. Sadly though, this is gonna take some time, so railways and all are currently on hold. Just gonna have to focus on certain things that are useful, and likely build up some more research centers, just to be safe. So, I'll have one built in the former capital of Shanghai. One's already built in Beijing. As for other areas, let's start with Xicheng, even though it's a orbital facility for launching aircraft and all. Well, I mean not aircraft, shuttles or rockets or whatever. So I'll just like to build there and accept all these messages, including the generous money from our allies. So let's see. Once again, looks like I gotta send out the Air Force. And probably whoever is here. Mostly engineers and artillery and a few tanks. And looks like we might take this. But I am going to have to get these guys retreat. They're taking too much damage. Retreat. And you two, I really don't care. And what do you know? We have more units deployed here. So, let me see. Yes, these two transports all the way from Japan itself, and my mouse is acting up again. I don't know why, but whatever. Anybody else deploy? We have one transport just sitting here, so move up. Load onto that transport. Bit of a misclicking there. Okay, that's not all of them, but close enough. So unload, you transport and an AT unit. Get over here. What other ships do I have? An LST, LMS, another AOE type that's up here as well. But just in case, I'm gonna try and load up as well. That seems to be it. Not on the LST, so that's out of the question. And now try to get this transport all the way to the other side. and unload more troops. And here they are. Reinforcements have arrived. Now to deploy them to the out front, as we're getting close to Hanoi. I mean, I keep forgetting that Hanoi is up here, whereas Ho Chi Minh City is probably down somewhere in the south. Don't know why I keep forgetting about that, but just the way I have to make mistakes. Now for these transports to get back onto Hainan, the island of Hainan. Hainan, I mean. I don't know why I seem to be having trouble pronouncing some names now. Oh well. In the meantime, our inflation rate is going in the right direction for once. And once again, I gotta deploy the Air Force to help attack Hanoi. And most of the aircraft are way too damaged and are in need of repairs. So with that, gotta load up onto these transports again, even if these are all just artillery types. Mostly. And there's only one left, so you load onto that if you can, or not. And what does the UN want? Hey? 90 days of metal ore for about that, and then they're not requesting anything else. Okay, I'll accept that other generous offer. And that's kind of it for the forces that are on Hainan. Just gotta deploy them out. Unfortunately, the front here is a bit problematic. Please capture that military complex and then head toward Hanoi if you can. And let's see if I can get these units to get on the other side. No, there's a something unusual happened there. Just for a moment. Come on, there's only one engineer left. They're gonna deploy another garrison. Yay. Oh yeah, and remember all those plans about the possibility of making an alliance, quote-unquote, with Greater Malaysia? Yeah, just forget it. I gotta think to the user to remind me of that I was originally, from the beginning, to conquer most of Asia and the Pacific and all, but so well. And Vietnam has fallen, and is now under our flag. So with that, we're gonna go back to DEFCON 4, go to low on everything. I'll have to reserve the Navy first, at least. Army, on the other hand, well, let's just say that there are too many garrisons. Most of which are going to be reserved, I'm sure. Well, either reserved or just, in this case, scrapped if I want to. I just don't want garrisons for some reason. Or whatever reason that I have, I'm not going to bother trying to explain. No offense. Now for the Air Force, all of these, including some jets that are in need of repairs. And that's kind of it. What about this FE? F4E, I mean. Repaired. Get repaired, I mean. That's fine. Alright, I'll accept it. And Inner Mongolia. Whoa. That's also surprisingly generous. Oh, almost made excellent. Like that. I will accept that as well, Kazakhstan. I definitely will accept that. Everybody's surprisingly generous. But with that, I guess I could just start doing some trade. In this case, one thing that's going to be a bit annoying is trying to get this thing working, and unfortunately I have to manually do this, as typing in the number of days or weeks or whatever is not really going to help. So what I'm going to increase, I have to give a certain amount of agriculture for about 65 days at least. 494 tons at least. And how much will that be? $28 million. Is there anything else you want? Timber, petrol, they're okay with that. Coal, they're fine. Metal ore, we're kind of even, slightly. So I'm gonna ignore that. Consumer goods, probably another 65 days as well. At least. And what else? Industry goods, they're fine. Military goods, I'm not gonna bother since we have a huge amount. And that's kind of it. So that's about $164 million. Unfortunately, unless I have some interesting tech that they might even be willing to actually pay this amount, in this case of their treasury. But I don't want to go over, I don't want to go under. I'll ask, but let's see if I can give them some stuff that could mitigate. Let's see, understand DNA casualties and... why not? Although I probably should have maintained a 30-day delay of any response if they figured to reconsider, but they just accept it. So 65 days of agriculture and consumer goods for about $162 million a day. So that's one down. Who else? Mongolia's economy is not looking good. So let's ask Inner Mongolia, who has also been rather generous. And oh, okay, they got plenty of food. No need for that. Water. We'll go with another 60 days or so. 60 or 65 if I want to. 60 days of water. Timber, we have a good amount, so another 65, or actually, no, that's actually a bit small. So I'll have to give at least a week of a rather large amount if I want to. Weekly, I mean. So about, yeah, 52 weeks is fine. But I'll have to do a bit of a sort of a balancing with both the amount of payment for both daily and the weekly amount payment. So for daily, I forgot what was the amount initially. So for now we'll go with 60 days for about $6.50 million. Weekly will be it's offering totals $104 million. Request is a bit high, but I'll just request this and see if there's any technology. Oh, alright, we'll go with that. Bit of a something I had to kind of think about now is to do a little bit of a combination of payments of either daily, weekly, monthly, or even yearly if I want to. But that kind of depends. But anyway, we got new research done. Got all of this. Treasury's gone back up. Inflation's still going in the right direction. Now let's see. Who else? Well, I guess we could go to Indonesia, as they have a rather large economy of their own and a sizable military as well. Mostly around Jakarta, their capital. And I don't see much of their other forces, especially on Papua New Guinea. Well, the Papua New Guinea island in general, at least. Azerbaijan. Okay. Also surprisingly generous, even though their treasury part could recover, but let's see if we can give them something. Well, their agriculture is rather small. So, how about another, no, not 52 weeks, but let's go increase to maybe 80 weeks at least for that amount. And that amounts to $137 million. Water, we're going to give another weekly as well. I know, it may seem odd that I'm being a little too generous, but when you have nations like this that are constantly giving me so much amount of money, I figure why not? I'm just gonna figure just why not? Why not just give them some stuff? So, I am not so sure about timber, but I guess I could go make this around 60 days or this amount of timber. Petrol coal is a different story. We're gonna go with monthly for about, no, not a whole year. We're gonna go with 6 months. So for 6 months, we're gonna give. That seems a little high. I really have to think. Oh, we'll go with that. So now for payment. For the 60 days, I think we're gonna go with just probably 3 million at least. Weekly, on the other hand, or 80 weeks. And we keep getting messages, and I gotta look through those rather quickly very soon. Get that, and monthly about 6 months, about, well, we'll increase a little bit since it is somewhat of a monthly, to 34 million. It's not much, may not seem much, but gotta do what you can, and we'll accept. Hopefully they'll accept. Next up is Lithuania, Azerbaijan again. Okay, Azerbaijan, thank you, but don't give me too much of your money, otherwise you're going to get a bit of a bankruptcy. And speaking of bankruptcy, the inflation rate is as it is, social spending as it is, taxes are as it is as well. Well, let's see if we can try and import something from any of our neighbors, or anybody in general, as our economy is really starting to shrink. Paris. Yeah, let's try Paris. Yeah, they look like it looks like they're okay with a few, well, with a few things at least. But actually, now that I think about it, importing from one nation to yours is a bit difficult, or rather annoying, for various reasons, even with a certain amount of payment. So, hey, what happened to the? You can't be serious. We lost the stock. Great. Ah, crap. Saudi Arabia is not happy, but let's see if we can give them all of that for about $2 billion at least. Yes, I know. Facility industrial. What? Industrial goods? You have got to be joking. No production, tiny stock, whereas military is also tiny. Oh god. Well, this is gonna get annoying. Oh crap. What else? Okay, so those trades were probably not a good idea. Let's see. Philippines, do you have anything that... Ah, forget it. Might as well ask Saudi Arabia. They have plenty of those, but let's see. Or daily of 600 or so. They're not going to accept that easily. Let's see. Water conservation. None of these. None of that. None of those. Son of a bitch. And our fucking inflation rate is going the wrong way. Again. Well, seems like my hopes for the inflation rate to go in the right way has been nothing but a dream, it seems. And everything's starting to go downhill even faster. Increased spending. I know. Increased social spending. Come on. Sadly, the income is about that much. Daily expenses is going to be expensive. But the inflation rate is problematic. trade and all that is also problematic, so I have no choice but to keep buying more and more debt. Right. Just great. Now, are we actually producing anything? Yes, we are. I honestly don't know why that always seems to happen right now. For whatever reason, nobody's making anything. Why? Probably because of payment and all. But it doesn't really help. Doesn't really help the inflation as it is, and it's still minus 3.7. And I really gotta get this down a little bit to that much. Taxes, I need to increase to 50%. Or in this case, corporates and high income 40%. Small businesses, you will not go too high. Sales tax is a bit high. Well, I guess I could maintain it high, but not too much. Unemployment, keep that at that much, I guess. Yeah, it looks like the economy is actually somewhat okay with this sort of balancing, but I have doubts. I have some doubts. And I'm really hoping this inflation will go in the right way. Hopefully. Hopefully. But in the meantime, there's really nothing we can do. And I am getting a little worried if any of our other neighbors would decide to declare war out of nowhere. Taiwan, however, is rather friendly. But who else? I guess we could try to make some trade agreement with Tibet. But what do they have that we need? Well, finally the fuel problem is fixed. But they need some food. How about another 52 weeks of probably this amount of food at least? How much is their treasury? That much. Fresh water, they'll need a lot. They'll probably need a lot. So, also weekly, seems a little much, of 2,000 tons or so, but at this rate, weekly we may have to do. Petrol, they're fine. Coal, this one, again, weekly, or actually for coal, if I can balance, thank you, about 50 days, at least. Metal ore, we have a large amount, and they're stockpiling their own. So, I'll give also 50 days of metal ore, or actually, yeah, I need to even it out. Uranium, not gonna bother that. Consumer, no. Industry, no. Military, definitely no. Especially where I don't want to see that problem of no production happening again. So with that, 52 weeks about, well, weekly is a bit different, so we'll go with 17 million. Daily for 50 days, we're gonna decrease the price tag about 9 million. And let's see if I can give some stuff they'll accept. Domestic prices are too high, that's to be expected. And what else? Hong Kong. I did not get any trade agreements with them yet. And since they're the direct neighbor right now, on land at least, I think I'll give about 45 days, or actually I'm going to increase a lot higher for Hong Kong, so delete all that. Probably 100 days actually. Seems quite a lot of time, but I'm going to be this one time a lot more generous than I would like. So that's another 100 days for water. I don't want to risk giving too much. Well, let's see what else. Coal is a different story. We're gonna go that, I guess. Also 100 days in the end. Metal ore, Demand and reserves. That's fine. Consumer goods, we're in need of industrial, military. They don't need that much military at the moment. Consumer goods. How about 100 days for that? But also for their own, just a tiny amount of 100 days once we make some sort of agreement. They're okay with that. It's rather tiny, but just a tiny amount would be enough. Petrol, I'm not gonna ask. Food, water, not gonna bother with those. Industrial is only gonna be about just a very tiny, really tiny one. So that's about it. So now payments. Because it's gonna be 100 days. That seems a bit stretched, so we're gonna go with that. But we might give a near identical or slightly higher, or near even actually, of 100 days as well, and some technology. If they can accept anything, since there currently are no only other ally on the Chinese mainland. But it looks like they're not going to accept any of these. And that's to be expected, I guess, since in order to fully agree with the trade I have on Hong Kong, what they would give to us, even though it's rather tiny, is actually something else, I'm guessing. So that, try again. 100 days or so if we can afford, and we give them that. But asking for this is a bit too much. And you know what, I guess I have no choice but to do this, forget asking anything, and see if I can give them some stuff that can be agreeable. If not, forget it. And looks like nothing is gonna change their minds. Yeah, nothing, so that was a waste. Well, Hong Kong, go ahead. Just do what you get. Do what you want. Now, how's our inflation? Oh, at least it's gone down. Or... however... I don't know. Now, food production is going to be annoying. We have no new farms being built. I have to fill that one. Anywhere that can provide a large amount of food. 157, 156. I am going to have to build these. Water. Annoying. 4 reclamations are being built. But we are going to need a bit more of the waterworks. Where to put them is the main question. Only 1 here. 2 here. 4 over here. And as for other parts of, say, up here. Well, I got these dams being built. Or repaired, I mean. So 1 here. 1 in Viet Tree. And 1 in Nam Dinh. That's kind of it. Timber, we have nothing else. We have no timber mills being built. Fill that and fill that out. 299. I'll somewhat fill those out. And these, I'll fill them out as well. And likely build a brand new railroad. Or railway, actually. Go with that. And then connect to Da Nang. And I'm not sure if there's an actual railway that's, well, been built up along this line. Probably not. Nope. There is no other line here. So, I got no choice but to connect to Vinh. And then head directly to Hoa Binh. Connect to Hanoi. Connect here. Connect to this small town and expand further. And I guess we'll connect to the usual. But that's kind of it for now, since I've ran out of time a bit. But I hope you enjoyed this, as we managed to finally conquer Vietnam. And I have not queued up any new units, which are already queued, but I guess I could do that manually another time, including the Air Force. But the economy is, as always, being annoying, and it has dropped a bit again, in the right way. But hopefully we will not have any more problems in the long run. And also hope that nobody else decides to declare war, as we're kind of in a bit of a tight spot with economically wise, and maybe slightly military wise. But either way, hope you enjoy this, and see you again in the next episode.